Ladies and gentlemen, the first Behind the Business of the year. I'm joined with Miles Wharton from the Bespoke Corner Tailors, and we're sitting in his beautiful showroom here in Paddington. Mate, welcome to Behind the Business.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
Mate, no dramas at all. So I thought, Miles, you've got a pretty interesting story. You're from the UK, you've been an entrepreneur since, you've been a young kid essentially. You've jumped into an industry that's quite saturated in Australia, and you've created a difference and you've created quite a brand. So I thought it'd be interesting for people to sort of learn a little bit about, you as a young kid, why you moved into this industry, and then obviously where you see the Bespoke Corner Tailors moving into the future. So run us through, I guess, from a young child, what got you into business? Why were you so intrigued into, I guess, this world of business?
I guess from a young age, I was always interested. My dad was in business. He owns a hotel. So I was always interested in getting into sort of my own business. I didn't really know what path I wanted to go down.
Right.
So I sort of dabbled in a lot of different industries. Started with supplements. So I had a supplement company when I was at school at 15 years old.
Right, and this is in the UK?
This is in the UK, yeah. So I was at boarding school in Taunton. And essentially that's sort of where I started. We were buying protein, creatine powders from one of my friend's dads. He was working at the company, so we were getting it cheaper than most of the stores were getting it. Right. And essentially, on selling it and making a profit. And
essentially direct to consumer as well, so not having the middleman. You were getting it from the, I guess, importer or
distributor. Yeah. So we were getting it from them, selling it to shops, selling it to pretty much all of the school teams.
As a 15-year-old kid?
Yeah, correct.
Right,
yeah.
Pretty incredible, mate. And then from there, obviously, you would have moved through school, probably had a few more little side businesses.
Yeah.
When did you come to Australia?
So I came to Australia 11 years ago now.
Right.
So I had an event business when I was at uni in Cardiff.
Okay.
Which, it was going well at the time. I had a few issues with a business partner.
Right.
And decided to get up and have a fresh start. So that's when I moved over to Australia. And didn't have any money at the time, so I came over with £500 and needed a job pretty quickly because, as you can understand, it doesn't last.
£500 is one night out at the Ivy.
Yeah. And I started packing weights away at Fitness First.
Right.
So that was my first essential job over here.
Okay.
And then moved into personal training. So Fitness First runs it as a franchise. Right. Yeah. So essentially started doing that for a few years, saved up a little bit of money, met some interesting characters along the way.
So that was in Sydney's East?
That was in Sydney, yeah. So that was in the city centre. Okay,
so obviously the clientele at that Fitness First would have been quite affluent people, right? They weren't just any old battler.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone was at a pretty high level.
Right.
So there was quite a bit of opportunity around that. I was meeting the right people from sort of day dot.
Yeah, okay. And was that, I guess, a thought of going into that, or did you just happen to fall into that and see an opportunity when you were in it?
To be honest, I don't think anyone wants to pack away weights in the gym.
Yeah.
It was more, I was desperate to, I had to get a job of some sort.
Okay.
At the time, I didn't really know what to do. I was still unsure what career path to sort of take.
Yeah.
And then on the side of doing that, I was doing multiple things. So we had an arcade company. We were the first ones to import the punch machines in bars and clubs.
Yeah, right. Okay, interesting.
So that went really well, and then obviously the King Punch happened. That affected that business quite heavily.
Right.
Then I had a streetwear company. So I was always interested in fashion.
Always very entrepreneurial.
Yeah, I loved fashion, but I think that all of the businesses I was jumping in were very much sort of money driven,
right?
So I would jump into something because I could see a quick buck to make, whereas there was no real passion behind it.
Okay.
Everyone always says, do something you're passionate about. I always thought it was, rubbish. And then I realised that actually, it probably is right. You probably should do something that you don't mind waking up every day and doing, and it doesn't feel like a chore.
At what stage did you go, look, I want to become a tailor. I want to start this brand. How did that happen?
So I was training a client of mine. I won't mention his name, but he was an investment banker who was at a very senior level.
Right.
And he was complaining about his tailor, and he was complaining that his tailor wouldn't come to him. He was spending a lot of money on his suits, and
Right.
it was very frustrating. You know, he used to go to work at 5 in the morning. He used to finish at 2 a.m. the next day.
And you're paying a lot of money for these suits, right? So you expect service.
Yeah, and I was actually shocked at how much money he was spending per suit. You know, we're talking 8 to 10,000 per suit.
Wow.
Plus he was having suits that were staying here, suits that were staying in Melbourne, and some in New York for when he travels, to minimise him having to take the suits with him.
Right.
So I was pretty shocked at the time. And then I said, well, I don't understand. Why doesn't the tailor come to you? And he said, oh, yeah, well, he should. And I said, well, if you were spending that type of money with me, I would come to you. That's when I said to him, look, let me work on it, and then I'm going to create a 24/7 travelling tailor.
Right. So this all started from a conversation in the gym, and one day you just clicked the button.
Yeah.
So run me through that process. You said, I want to create a 24/7 tailor. Obviously, there's a lot of work that goes into saying something and then actually making that work. Obviously finding where the suits are going to be manufactured, or the cloth. There's a lot to that. So run me through that process. How long did that take? And
Yeah, I guess from my experience, I had no experience in tailoring.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. I did go to boarding school. I believe that your parents sort of are paying for a network.
100%.
That's the reason why they do it. I was lucky enough to be connected to pretty much everyone. I've got friends in China, in Italy, and pretty much every location because of school. So I reached out to a few people, asked them sort of where the best factories would be, how do I start the process, similar to any business.
Yeah.
Except this business was great because there was a very low entry to get into it. There was hardly any costs involved.
Right.
Typically, you're taking the customer's money before you're spending the money, so it was very easy to start the business. Then I had to find a tailor because I had to understand how you measure, how you work it out. So then I met Rami, who is my business partner now. So we started off. I obviously approached him and said, look, this is what I want to do. Are you interested? He said no. And I said, well, can you teach me, how I measure, run me through the process, what do I need to do? And he said, I can do all of your alterations when the suits come back. And, he taught me how to measure and, ran me through sort of the bare minimum of what I needed to know.
So essentially there's that metaphor where you jump off the cliff and build the plane on the way down. That's literally what you did. You said,
Exactly.
Sure, I'll create a 24/7 tailor.
Yeah.
And literally had no idea what to do. You just said you were going to do it, which I think is pretty inspiring.
Yeah, it was great. There was a lot of hiccups at the start. You're producing things, they're coming back, they're wrong, and it was a bit of a rocky road.
Yeah.
But it was the first business I used to wake up in the morning and I used to get excited about doing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't for the money. Obviously, money's a big driver, for the end goal. But I actually enjoyed the process of seeing different people, producing the garments, having a little bit of your own touch on it as well. It made people feel a little bit more sort of special. Because
essentially when people are buying suits, I'm sure people, even me, I wear your suits and I come in, I know what I like, but at the end of the day, you're, I guess, the fashion expert, right? Everything I wear, I know personally, there's always you saying, how about this, or how about you have your lapels this width and the colours and all that sort of stuff. So you're not only a tailor, you're also, I guess, a little bit of a fashion advisor as such too, because people, I guess, typically are not genuinely, I guess, in love with fashion. They just wear what they have to wear because clothes are essential,
correct, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of guys really don't care.
Yeah.
The majority of guys, they want to come in, they want to leave. They're looking for an effortless experience. So they don't want to go to David Jones and rummage through the racks. They want to come somewhere, they want to have a whiskey, they want to sit down, have a laugh with someone that they know, that they've built some rapport with, and be guided to looking good.
100%. Okay, so Rami obviously ended up joining the Bespoke. You eventually got to a point where you could open up the first store, which was Paddington, what we're sitting in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at right now with the Bespoke Corner Tailors in terms of how many stores, how many suits you guys averagely, doing on a yearly basis? Run me through that, and then we might, give the listeners some I guess, inspiration of where you actually see this business going and what the end goal looks like.
Yeah, so I guess where we're at now is we have a store in Paddington. We're still traveling to clients when, more of our VIP clients now.
Yeah.
Just because of lack of time of being able to see everyone.
Yeah.
We have a showroom in Melbourne as well, which we opened a year and a half ago.
Right.
Which is going very well in South Yarra.
Yeah. Which is a quite affluent suburb in Melbourne, right?
Yeah, so we try to pick pockets where it's very easy for a customer to get to. It's not in the centre of the city. They can drive their nice car, pull up out the front, come in. It's effortless.
Right, and it's experience as well, right? It's not just like going to somewhere like David Jones. When
Exactly.
you get there, it's not just like I'm going to buy a suit. That you could spend a few hours doing this and enjoy the process.
Yeah, I mean, it's by appointment only. So you're the only person in the showroom. There's no one else coming in. It's very private. It's very sort of luxurious. You're getting a very tailored experience to your needs. So the whole thing around what we were doing was we didn't want someone to come in and be forced a certain style. So we ask you what you do for work. We understand what you want to do with the garment. If you're living in Dubai, I'm not going to give you a certain cloth. If you're going onto a building site, we need more durability. So
Right.
there was more. It's more than just buying a suit.
And personality, I guess, comes into that a lot too, right? If you've got a very flamboyant and out there personality, maybe the suits you wear are a bit more colourful and out there, right?
Just like yours.
Exactly right. Mate, and in the time frame, when was the formation of the Bespoke? How long has it been in operation now at a full level, I guess?
So it's been around for about 7 years.
Right.
I guess at a full level, probably I would say about 4 years.
So in 4 years, you guys have opened up 2 stores.
Yeah.
Which is, and you have made a massive impact on the industry.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, after the first year, we did a collaboration with Rolls-Royce. So
Right.
we were the first tailors to collaborate with Rolls-Royce, which really set the brand apart from everyone else. We did a limited run of 4 designs. We had 30 of each at 4,000 a tuxedo, which sold out.
Wow.
It was a big turning point for the brand, which gave us a lot of sort of authority in the market.
Which people who are buying Rolls Royces should be,
Exactly,
pretty important people, I guess, from an affluent standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our clients, they're by referral anyway. So once you're getting into those networks, it becomes very easy once you do a good job and you service them to get referrals.
And what's the future look like for the Bespoke Corner Tailors? Where are you pushing towards? Is it a international business? Is it having some ready-to-wear stuff? Run me through how you see the Bespoke Corner Tailors.
Yeah, so we're going to stick to what we're doing. We're not going to go down the ready-to-wear line at this stage.
Right.
We're going to focus on made-to-measure and sticking to what we originally sort of had planned. We obviously want to be the #1 tailor in Australia. That's always been our focus.
Right.
We are looking overseas as well. We're doing multiple trips. You've probably seen, and we've had a few conversations about Dubai. We travel to Dubai a lot. We have a lot of VIP clients over there. So we are looking at something over there at the moment.
Wow. Okay.
And we'll slowly expand, but we want to make sure that we're doing it in the right way and we're not damaging the service by growing too quickly.
So quality control is very important to you guys.
Exactly. I think as soon as you start getting a little bit greedy and you get a bit too big too quick, then obviously it's going to affect your loyal customers that have been coming back for years, and we definitely don't want to do that.
Right. Guys, I think you'll find a lot of value in this conversation. This is a man who's been an entrepreneur from a 15-year-old kid and now is building a very, successful brand in the tailoring space in Australia. So any suits, any custom flamingo shirts you may need, come on into the Bespoke Corner Tailors.